Hello and welcome to this tutorial in which I want to show you how you can interconnect two different websites that run on Thrive Suite. Now to do this, we're going to create one automation on each website. The first one should have a start trigger that will get the automation running, and then we're going to add a send webhook action, and this will work as an outgoing webhook and send the data over to the second website on which we're going to catch the data using the incoming webhook start trigger. So this is going to be our second automation on our second website. Using this method can come in very handy if, for example, you're looking for ways to connect your main website to one of your subdomains. So for example, yoursite.com, you can connect it to members.yoursite.com. In this tutorial, we're going to achieve the following scenario. So someone fills in a form on one of my websites and they will get access to a course that has been created and is hosted on a totally different website. Again, for this to work, we're gonna have to have Thrive Suite activated on both websites, and we're gonna use Thrive Automator. Now to achieve this scenario, we're gonna create one automation that has a start trigger, and this can be anything you want, of course, but in my example, I said that when someone fills in a form from my site, they get access to a course from another site. So this is going to be the start trigger for this automation, and then we're going to use the send webhook action next. Now on the other website, the automation should look like this. So we're going to start with an incoming webhook trigger, and then because we want to grant users access to one of my Thrive Apprentice products, so a course inside that product, we're going to also use this action, the find or create user action, which basically means that the system will look for the user that has signed up on the form, and in case they find it, they will grant them the subscriber role and access to the course, and if the user cannot be found, an account will be created. And then of course, as a last step, we're going to grant access to the product. Now I'm going to go ahead and recreate each of these automations so that we can take it step by step. So I am now on the website on which I will place my form. I'm going to call this my main website. So I will add a form here, and whenever someone fills in this form, they will be granted access to a course from my second website. That is the one that will host my Thrive Apprentice product and course. So I'm going to start by adding a new automation, and I'm going to name it Alright, and then we're going to choose the start trigger. As I said, this will be the form submit start trigger. You can also use this drop down in case you want to only start this automation if certain conditions are being met. I'm going to leave it to always trigger and click on done. Now we can add the next action, which is going to be the send webhook one. Now for these automations to be properly set up, we are going to have to work in both automations at the same time. Now this is because, as you can see here, we're going to need the webhook URL, and this is going to be generated by the incoming webhook trigger of the other automation. So at this point, I'm going to go over to my second website and start creating the automation from there as well. I'm back here on my secondary website, and this is the one that hosts my Thrive Apprentice product. So my Thrive Apprentice course is inside that product. I'm going to click on add new and name this second automation. And as I said, the start trigger in this case will be the incoming webhook one. So it's going to be this one, and this will automatically generate our webhook URL right here, and then we can go ahead and copy it to our clipboard and go back to the first site. So as you can see, this setup is a bit of going back and forth from one website to the other. So what I'm going to do now is paste the webhook URL generated by our other automation in this send webhook field. Now we're going to have to choose the request type. This is a post request, and the format. And then we're going to have to choose which fields and what type of data should be sent out to our other website. What's important to remember here is that we need to make sure that we are requesting valid information. So we need to be able to give users access to one of our courses based on this data that this automation will send over to the other one. What I mean by that is that if we need to create an account for a user that does not already have one, we're gonna need the email field, for example. So we have to make sure that in these fields, we're gonna add relevant and valid information. So what I'm going to do is insert an email field, and here I'm going to use dynamic data to populate this field with the actual email. Now here you can either choose to go for the email that has been used in the form or the WordPress user email of the person that has filled in the form. I'm going to go for this option, and I'm also going to add a name field here. Of course, you can go ahead and add more fields if you feel like it. I'm going to stick to a simple structure like this one. What we can do now is use this option to send a test. We can go over to the second automation and use the listen mode to make sure that the data from these fields will be sent out correctly from one side to the other. I'm going to go to the second automation and use the listen mode and come back here and send a test so that we can see whether these fields are going to synchronize with the other automation. So if everything works correctly, once we use the listen mode and send a test from the other automation, this incoming data section will be populated with our email and name fields from the other automation. So let's go ahead and test it out. I clicked on listen, and coming back here, I'm going to send a test and wait for the success notification. The webhook has been sent successfully. We're going to go back to the other automation. And as you can see here, the incoming data section has been populated with the email and name field from the other automation. This means that the automations are connected. And what we need to do here is make sure that in the case of fields such as the email field, the correct type of field is selected here. So as you can see, the email field has automatically been assigned the text field type, but we're gonna have to click on this field and go for the email option. Now we can click on done to save the incoming webhook start trigger, and we can go back to the other automation to finish that one and then come back here and finish this one as well. Now the send webhook action is complete. We can click on done to save it. And right now, when someone fills in a form on our site, the webhook will be sent to the other website. Now, of course, in between these steps, you can also add a filter in case you want to only continue this for a specific form, for example. And for that, you can choose this option, and you will have all of the form identifiers that you have placed on your website right here. So all you have to do is click on the form identifier of the form that you want to start this automation and click on done. And whenever you're done setting up your automation, you can go ahead and publish it and click on save and finish. Now let's head over to the other automation to finish that one as well. So in this case, we only have the start trigger, which is the incoming webhook one. So when someone has filled in that form, the webhook will be sent over, and this start trigger will catch it and will catch all of the data. Now, as the next section here, I will choose the find or create user one, because this way, in case the person who has just filled in the form was already a user on my site, the system will know to look for them and grant them access to the product. And in case they have not created an account on my website prior to this step, the automation will create a user for them and they will receive an email with the login information. So I'm going to click here on add another action and go for the find or create user one. And here you have to choose the user role that should be granted to this user. I'm going to go for subscriber, click on done. And as the last action here, I'm going to choose the grant access to product one. Of course, you will have to select the product that contains the course, and I'm going to simply click on it from this field and click on done. This automation is also finished. I'm going to publish it and save everything. With these two automations saved and published, the outcome is again that whenever someone fills in the form on website number one, they will be granted access to a course that is hosted on website number two. I'm going to really quickly demonstrate how everything works. So I'm going to access and fill in a form from my first website and come back to the second website in Drive Apprentice and see if I was granted access to that course. I have accessed the customers section of Drive Apprentice of the website that hosts my course. So this is the second website. I'm going to search for this email, which is the one that I will use to sign up on the form from my first website, and as you can see, there are no customers found using this email. I'm going to go ahead and fill in that form to see if everything works properly. So this is the first site. I'm going to add the same email here and also add a name and send the information. And now let's see what happened. So first of all, in the inbox of the email that I have used in the form, I will get the login details. Now this is because the email that I've used did not have an account assigned to it on my website, so I have just received an email with the login information. And now if I go back to the second website with the Thrive Apprentice product and course, I'm going to look for this email again. And as you can see, I have found a user that, if we take a look at the access rights, does have access to the Thrive Apprentice product that we've chosen in the automation. So as you can see, everything works successfully, meaning that you can now connect two websites that use Thrive themes only by using two automations. I really hope this tutorial was useful. Make sure to check out the rest of the articles, tutorials, and videos from our knowledge base and YouTube channel to stay informed on how you can use Thrive Suite products and features to customize and design your website.